One of the things I talked about in my socializing videos is that it's often very helpful to do what I call branch out. What do I mean by this? I mean by getting involved in certain communities that can just allow you to meet people very passively. You don't have to go out and cold approach and all that good stuff. And how is this helpful to somebody my age who maybe has a very lackluster love life, or hasn't even developed a love life yet? Well, it does, but you still got to put in the work. But if you seek out communities which you have something in common, or even just open your mind to said communities that you didn't think you'd be able to get connected to, it can reduce the amount of work that someone has to put into finding a partner a lot. It really does cut down on it. Not so much because of the people that you meet in said communities, just that you have an idea for a nice old date night. If you happen to meet a woman and you say, hey, let's go shoot pool. You know, we can hang out with my buddies, and we'll just have a lot more fun that way. You know what I mean? A lot of the dates that I went on in the last year, in 2012, a lot of them involved me just taking the girl out bowling, and then she'd meet my buddies. She would see how passionate I am about the game and how much I practice and how much I talk about it and stuff like that, and that will impress her. For her, that in and of itself is impressive, that I actually have a passion and a hobby. And I'm going to go over that in a much later video, but for now, just keep that in mind. If you're one of these people who, they don't like anything, and it's them against the world, and people don't like that. It's a very unpopular thing. Trust me. For example, the Super Bowl was on yesterday, and although I didn't care about it because the team I wanted to be in it, the Patriots, weren't in it, I was still, open to the fact that people liked the Super Bowl. They liked the commercials, they liked the game itself, they liked the halftime show, which I saw on YouTube, and Beyonce still got it, even though she has a kid and she's in her 30s. Still got a crush on that girl, man. So I was like, all right, I understand, because it's events like that that bring people together. And if you're going to be going against the flow and all that good stuff, then you can be prepared to be a very lonely person. And like I said, it could be a hobby that you didn't think you enjoyed. For example, when I first got back into bowling about 10 years ago, and I started league bowling again, I had taken a lot of time off because people didn't think it was cool, and I was like, alright, well, it's not cool to be in a bowling league. I have to play other sports. I have to try and play baseball, basketball, football, because that's what everyone else likes, you know what I mean? But I didn't have the strength in me to just do my own thing, you know what I mean? But if I were to do my own thing, maybe my adolescence wouldn't be spent in my room so much, you know what I mean? And when I first started bowling league 10 or so years ago, I saw the benefits of it. I really did. And here's something really crazy. When I first started bowling league back in the day, about 10 years ago, when I was 21, my team consisted of a sorority girl and a friend of hers. You know what I mean? Imagine that. Me bowling with two girls, and I'm getting back into the game, and I'm starting to become passionate about it again. That could have been just like date night after date night after date night after date night, over and over and over. You know what I mean? So it's something like that. When you have a community of people and an activity that everyone can enjoy and everyone can get into, it really helps the odds of having a nice date, of having a nice love life. It really does. And like I said, if you don't know what you're into, that involves groups, and I don't mean playing MMORPGs and other forms of online gaming. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is being around people being around groups of people who are doing one thing. For example, the biggest example of this is bowling league, because of the term social capital. Social capital was a term invented by a sociologist named Robert Putnam about 15 years ago, in a book called Bowling Alone. And what he said was like, oh, you know, like communities of people society used to thrive on it. You know what I mean? They used to thrive on community, and now it's getting worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean? These group activities are becoming replaced by the internet, or being replaced by video games, or being replaced by online gaming, and that's not necessarily a good thing, is what his central argument was back when he wrote that book in like 1999. I forget when he wrote it. It was in the late 90s, sometime in the late 90s. It was when the internet really started to just, you know, start moving really quickly. And all of a sudden everyone was getting on the internet. You know what I mean? Now it's a standard, but back 15 years ago it was almost like a privilege. And so he saw this and he wrote that book because of it, in reaction to it. It's almost like he was scared. It's like, holy crap, what have we gotten into? And I honestly think that has contributed to the lack of love life that a lot of guys my age are going through right now. You know what I mean? So that's video number 3. You know what I mean? Find an activity that you think you like. Join a group in the community that, you know, participates in said activity. A bowling league, a pool league, even like a company softball team, if the people you work for have a company softball team or baseball team or whatever. Join a gym and take some lame-o class. Like I said, not for the intent of meeting women, but for the intent of meeting people. A lot of guys who are my age who haven't had a richly colorful love life, there's one common thread, and that is that they don't know how to meet people. They don't know how to relate to people. And it's tough. Trust me, it's very, very tough, because you look around, you see everyone doing better than you in terms of relationships or whatever, and you're just thinking to yourself, why? Well, the answer is because they know how to relate to people, right? So what better way to learn than to join something, okay? I'm not saying be a sheep either. I'm not saying be a complete fanboy of the new activity that you're into. But I'm just saying, become open-minded to it, you know what I mean? And other activities too. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one. Hopefully it won't take so long for me to do the next video, but whatever. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Alright. Peace.